What more could you ask for? You know, get to play at home for a chance to play for a state championship again. Had some great memories on this field. Hopefully get one more.
Control the big play, make that to a minimum, and just bend, don't break.
Play 15 has been our goal all season.
We're just thinking state right now.
It just comes down to heart, really, just playing hard. Let's go do it.
Well, you can use a TomTom, a Garmin, or even one of those old-fashioned Magellans, but make sure to plug in the address to Lucas Oil Stadium, because the next stop is State, as this is the semi-state edition of the Highlight Zone.
Is that 16th Street?
It's close. It's a little south of that.
We'll call it 16th Street.
That's where the White Castle is.
That's where White Castle is. 3 local teams looking to pave the road to the Circle City. At Bishop Luers, the Knights looking for their 3rd straight trip to Lucas Oil. At Snyder, the Panthers looking for their 6th trip to State. And at Leo, they were looking to make history.
And that is where we start, because they say there's a first time for everything. And for Leo fans, they were hoping that time would be now. The Lions won their first ever regional title last year, only to get beaten at semi-state by a team from South Bend. This time around, the Lions now in 4A and still looking for their first ever trip to state. Leo undefeated at 13-0, hosting a South Bend, Washington team led by this guy, running back David Perkins. He decommitted from Notre Dame and is now looking at Oregon, USC, and LSU, so in a nutshell, he's good. Leo's first drive of the game, 4th and 2 on their own 46. They go for it. Travon Carr picks up 37. Jared Souter rolling the dice early and coming up roses. Same drive, Alex Egan ends it with a 29-yard field goal, and it's 3-zip Leo. However, the Panthers' first drive, they come out, and they come out strong. Perkins picking up a first down. They would pick up first downs on their first 3 plays, and it would lead to Kelly Colau with a QB keeper. 7-3 South Bend at that point, and the defenses after that started to feel a little bit froggy. Second quarter, big defensive play right here for South Bend, Washington. Ryan Leiter goes down. He's sacked by Matt Clay, but Leo up to the challenge. How about Nick Johnson answering with a sack of his own? And after a scoreless second quarter, it's still 7-3 South Bend, Washington at the half. Third quarter, how about some history? Gage Corner breaks the all-time Leo receptions record. Congratulations to Gage. Had a bruised kidney, came back from it. The kid has worked hard, but it would be a scoreless third, and then 7-3 as we go into the fourth. How about this? Ball at midfield, and you see South Bend, Washington can't handle the punt. Reed Rohrbacher coming up huge, so the momentum shifting to Leo, but on the next play, picked off by Perkins. He is an athlete, folks. 61 yards for the touchdown on the return, and that'd be all the scoring in this one. PAT no good, and South Bend, Washington ends Leo's road just a game short of Lucas Oil Stadium, just like last year. 13-3 the final.
I got nothing but love for my teammates, man. We came out, we left it on the field. We just had struggles and mishaps on offense tonight. Defense, the first drive, they came out, they smacked us in the mouth. But after that, we shut them down.
It's heartbreaking for the second year in a row to lose at Summit State, and we're so close, and just fell short again. It's all right. I love every guy in there, and this was a great game and a great opportunity, and we just fell short again, and I love all these guys here.
You know, obviously we're upset. This is one that we wanted to get. The kids have worked very hard to get to this point. You know, we're just super proud of their effort, what they've been able to do this year on so many different levels.
Got a feel for those kids. Leo ending the year with a 13-1 record. South Bend, Washington will play Cathedral in the 4A state title game.
Nothing for the Lions to hang their heads about. Great season. But when you get to this level of football, nobody in Indiana does it better than Bishop Luers. The Knights with a state-best 13 regional championships coming into the night. Matt Lindsay's team has made it look easy so far in the playoffs. But would undefeated Bremen be a different story? To Luers Field we go. The Knights ranked #1 all season long. Bremen comes in ranked 5th. James Kanapke said he didn't want to lose his last game at Luers Field. Both teams go 3 and out to start the game. Then Bremen makes its first mistake. Nate Leeper to Braxton Miller. Fumbalaya recovered by Andrew Spencer. Knights were in business on a very cold, windy night tonight. A few plays later, guess what the wind blew in? Mr. Jalen Smith, the extra effort, gets into the end zone. 7-zip Knights in the first quarter. After that, great individual effort coming up here. James Kanapke to Michael Rogers. puts a little move on. Check out the stiff arm, and then he's turning on the Jets, folks. He's going 61 yards to the house. Knights were in control at this point in the second quarter, up 14-0. However, just before the half, after a personal foul penalty on Luers, the Lions capitalized. Leaper to Miller, 20-yard touchdown. Luers up just 14-7 at the half. But in the third, little breathing room. Mr. Smith, 108 yards on the night, and this, his second touchdown, just leaping over defenders. That made it 21-7. But Bremen not going away. In the fourth quarter, Leaper to Ben Haney. Suddenly, he's in the end zone. It's a 21-14 ball game. Just over 5 minutes to go, but that's when the Knights D takes over. Leaper to Miller, and he coughs up the football right to Kendrick Mullen. He's taking it all the way back to the house, 65 yards. That made it 28-14. Luers at that point, and then just 57 seconds later, it's Andrew Spencer, the interception. He takes it back to the house. That made it 35-14 at that point as Luers, they're moving on to Lucas Oil Stadium, 35-21 the final.
Our motto was to start fast and finish faster, so we just have to pick it up in the second half and limiting the mistakes and just coming out in all cylinders and executing. It feels good just to be able to try for a three-peat. We'll be ready to go.
The game was in the balance. Mullen's big play and then Spencer's big play, and it's always good to get a couple of big defensive plays. That always turns the tide.
Defense stepped up huge. They got those 2 turnovers for touchdowns. Got us up some big points. It was great. It was close for a while. We couldn't put them away. They kept fighting, obviously. So those 2 turnovers were huge for us. We finally got the W. I'm glad it's over. We're heading back to Indy.
So now Luers 12-1 on the season. They play the waiting game because Guerin Catholic, Evansville Mater Dei, they play the other 2A semi-state championship game. That game is tomorrow. Either way, they're moving on to the 2A title game that's set for 7 o'clock next Friday night at Lucas Oil Stadium.
And we will be there. Most likely you will be there.
Why not?
Why not? All right, a rematch, but not a repeat. That's what Snyder fans were looking for as the Panthers played at Penn in Week 4 with the Kingsmen checkmating Snyder 31-13. However, Kurt Tittman's squad, a much different team than the one we saw back on September 9th, as the Panthers riding a 6-game winning streak, coming off their first regional title since 2004. To Mishawaka we go, a trip to Indy for the 5A title game on the line. And in the first quarter, defense was the name of the game. Dumont Schmidt coming up with the tackle for loss there. And after the first quarter, this game was scoreless. Second quarter, though, in fact, early second quarter, Penn runs the football here. It's Zach Oakley, the quarterback. He breaks it around the corner, and he is gone. 60 yards on the score, and Penn up 7-zip. Snyder trying to get the offense going. Brandon Phelps going to the air. Unfortunately, this will be 1 of 2 picks on the night for Phelps. And you know what? No shame in that. That's a heck of a play by Penn there. And then it's Penn doing things not so well on the offensive side of the football. You saw Schmidt recover that fumble. Chris Campbell, 40-yard field goal. So
we love the kickers.
Now it's the year of the kicker. 7-3 at that point. Late second, though, Oakley with the 2-yard keeper for a touchdown, and it's 14-3 Penn at the half. Late third quarter, now 21-3. John Nelson, what a senior season he's having. That's a touchdown. He had 114 yards, cuts it to 21-10, but in the fourth, Chad Gindelberger with a short touchdown, and Snyder comes up just short as they fall at Penn for the second time this season. 28-10, your final. Snyder finishing the year with a 9-5 record, but what a second half of the season to build on for Kurt Tittman and those Snyder boys. Well, that wraps up football for tonight, and that wraps up all the boys' action, but the girls, they've already been hitting the hardwood.
Always tough. Carroll heads to Southside in a crosstown showdown, and neighbors knock heads at Norwell as the Knights host nearby Bluffton. Plus the Comets back at home, all that and more coming up next in the Highlight Zone.
We are Bishop Luers! Stay tuned for the